Okay, in today's episode or today's video, we're going to talk about what a scope of work is. What is a scope of work? When you put an RFP out or when you're looking for a vendor to come in and do a specific thing for you, it's very important that we document all of this on paper. That you don't just go out and say, hey, how much for a piece of software or how much for a consulting service. It's very important that we document all of this in a scope of work, which essentially is a narrative statement of everything that you need done through this project. What does that typically include? Let's take the example of a IT strategic plan project, right? When you put an RFP for an IT strategic plan, you can't just say, hey, give us a 10-month or a 10-year strategy to improve our IT operations. You can't just say, give me a 5-year IT strategic plan. You have to be very specific about what that means to you and how the vendors should interpret that. Because it's very easy for vendors to copy and paste a previous response or a proposal and say, hey, this is what worked for your neighboring city, should work for you. But in reality, it really should be dictated by your needs. So how do you go about putting together a good scope of work that tells the vendors exactly what you're looking for and allows them to respond in a manner that's beneficial to both of you, the client and the vendor? We respond to a lot of RFPs, and at times we're left scratching our heads on what the client actually wants from this project. A lot of times it'll be vague, things not to do specifically during an RFP selection process are many, but with a scope of work, you have to be really careful on how you narrate that, how you craft it, making sure that all of the aspects within your RFP and your project that you desire can be hit with a specific project. Vendors are very responsive to detailed RFPs. In my experience, the more detailed your RFP is, the better our proposal can be, because then we don't have to read between the lines. We don't have to go do our own research. Of course we do that, but we are specifically told by your side, what are you looking for in a narrative format with bullet points, with additional documentation, hyperlinks. You need to get creative on how you can put out a really good scope of work. And these days you can do it on PDF, you can do it on video, you can do it on your website. It doesn't have to be a paper document, right? It's ironic when we see RFPs for IT strategic planning and IT and digital modernizations that ask for 10 copies on paper. So scope of work can also be extended beyond just that purpose, right? You can use a scope of work going forward as a contract compliance vehicle, meaning when you choose a vendor based on their proposals and their demonstrations, interviews, what have you, you can then take that scope of work and stick it into your contract, and coupled with things like requirements documentation, business process design documentation, that becomes the foundation of your contract. And we've talked about this in contract negotiation videos before, where you specifically take the scope of work and keep the vendor accountable for using that as their guideline for how they should be delivering services to you. If you're looking to put together a solid RFP with a specific scope of work that you're not sure of how detailed it should be, please reach out. We can help you.